Welcome back to Yes, We're Adopted. Don't make it weird. It must be Saturday, because that's when we do this. That was terrible.
That was awful.
Welcome back to Yes, We're Adopted. Don't make it weird, where we talk about adoptee things.
So yeah, welcome back to Yes, We're Adopted. Don't make it weird. I'm Brett. That's Davo. This is Coffee. Let's get into it. You like that one?
Why can't you just
You like
do
that one?
Before we get started, go ahead and take a second and hit that subscribe button here
Right there.
with the little bell icon. So you'll get notified whenever we release more of these adoption videos about being adopted.
Being adopted. You're super awkward today.
I don't know. I've only had 2 cups of coffee today.
It's only like 11 o'clock. All right, Davo, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today?
Hit him with it. Hit him with
I
it.
can't do this level of energy right now. You haven't even had coffee yet.
I haven't had it.
We've been doing a lot of adoption videos and talking a lot about what it means to be an adopted adult with people now, because they've watched this channel and they've watched the show and wanted to talk about being adopted and talk about their own experiences. And it's been astounding to realize, one, how widespread adoption is in our community and in a lot of communities, and it's also astounding to realize just how little it comes up. So for those of you that are kids today thinking about, the adoption thing is just such a big deal and it's always coming up, which I remember that being a thing that happened in my childhood or adolescence or young adulthood. If that's annoying to you, there's hope, because
it rarely comes up when you're an adult.
it never comes up. Which is why we're doing this now, I guess.
Yep.
You remember any time in your adulthood, let's say like 20 on, that being adopted came up in normal conversation?
No. Like never. Seriously, it never really came up, unless I'm the one who brought it up or they saw me with my parents. That's really the only time. If, I went up to my dad and I was like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" They'd be like, "Dad?" Like, oh, I get it now.
Or they don't get it.
Right?
There's also that.
It's funny because my wife is white, and whenever I would go up, and talk to my parents, a lot of people would think that they're her parents.
Right.
And I just was calling them Mom and Dad.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was fun.
That's happened. The only time it ever comes up is when you're with your parents in public, which, as an adult, for me especially, living out of state from where, my parents were in Colorado, or were in Colorado, and I was here in Michigan, I saw my folks maybe a couple of times a year through holidays, that sort of thing. So it'd be very strange for that ever to come up outside of anything.
I spilled it.
Oh,
I did spill it.
I
did spill it.
Come on!
gosh.
Oh, jeez. What's wrong with you?
I'm having a hard time. I haven't had any coffee yet.
Maybe just put that down.
I think he heard it. I knew it.
I love it
It
when
was
Ryan
Ryan.
makes cameos into the adoption videos.
Hey, Ryan, come here real quick. Come here. Question for you. Impromptu question, real quick. First of all, why are you so tall?
Nothing I can do about that, guys.
When you first met us, was your impression that they are from Asia or they were adopted by non-Asians?
Or was there an impression?
Or was there an impression? You can be honest. This is just going to everybody on the internet.
I just don't know that those things have to be exclusive.
Okay, elaborate. Come in the center here.
You may have been adopted from Asia, which is what I would assume.
Okay.
Is it?
Isn't
that what happened? Is there like a group of people in the U.S. that just looks like you guys? I mean, like natively? I assumed you guys were Asian from when I met you.
You can leave now.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, because it's true. There's actually nothing offensive about it. You guys got me on my toes.
So the only time that being adopted ever comes up is what?
Is whenever I bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody asks though. I don't know if people are afraid to ask if you are adopted or not, or did you migrate here from another country? I don't know. These aren't questions that normal people ask, and so there's this whole there's this whole fear kind of based around being adopted. But once you get older, nobody cares.
Doesn't come up.
It's kind of sad actually that nobody really cares.
Well, it's like there's got to be a weird like racial component to it, right? Where people freak out about like I just saw because we can't label anybody right now. So to see the Asian guy with all the white people that are older than he is, like I'm either their adopted child or their awesome Asian bodyguard.
Yeah, or foreign exchange student.
So I mean that's the long and short of it. Like it just never comes up unless we bring it up. Now it's being adopted has been brought up now to us.
Yeah, quite a few times actually.
And honestly, it's a lot of the time we're like, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
had
too.
No idea.
What?
Like,
I didn't know your mom was adopted.
I forget half the time that my mom is adopted.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until this year.
And a lot of these other people that come up to us and have conversations like, hey, did you know I was adopted? How in the world would I know you're adopted?
There's, as an adult, and I don't see any contact, but like I'm never gonna do that to a kid either, right? Even as an adoptee, like I see around Asian children with white adults.
Yep.
And my assumption is that kid's adopted, right? But it's not like I'm ever gonna go up and be like, hey, me too.
Yeah.
I had that thought.
I want you to. It was so bad.
We were at the grocery store, and I was like a mom and her kid, and putting the little Asian child into the cart and pushing it around, and I just wanted to be like, hey, I've been there. Like as an adult, I never also had adult Asian adoptees be like, hey, I know what you're going through.
Right. Exactly.
I've been there, right? Yep. And even so, like, okay, so it's weird now with when my wife will take the kids out because the kids are Asian looking, right? They look like me.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people probably assume that they're adopted. They're starting to look more like her. As they
or she's the nanny.
Or she's the nanny. She has gotten that before, which is kind of funny. But like, there's no way to broach that subject. Very rarely is the whole idea of being adopted as an adult. It just doesn't come up.
Right.
Right. And which is a problem. I think maybe was a problem for us as kids that it just never came up.
Yeah.
That there's no baseline. There's nothing.
It was
to
so
look at.
foreign that when it did come up, you had no defense or you didn't know how to react to it.
Right. And as an adult, like we don't really know what to do with that now, even. Right? Like it's not like I'm gonna go up to people and say, "Hey, I'm Dave, and I was adopted. Nice to meet you."
Dave.
like that's your first introduction to somebody or whatever. But you do feel like that, sometimes you do feel like you have to quantify it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It feels like there's a lot less pressure on me whenever people know that I'm adopted as well. Because there are a lot of Asian stereotypes out there, and I fall into them occasionally. The computer nerd. I'm really good at computers. I'm really good at video games. Not so good at math. But, when people know that I'm adopted, for some reason it feels like these stereotypes just kind of fall off. And they don't matter nearly as much, or they don't have nearly as much power over me as if I were from Korea, raised by Korean parents, just living in America. And so for me to be able to, I guess, be more comfortable with other people, it's good for them to know that I am adopted. There's a lot less expectation as far as the Korean or Asian culture that comes along with it that I don't have to play into. I don't have to worry about it because if I ever go to a Korean restaurant, I'm not going to know how to pronounce any of these foods. I'm going to butcher it and they're going to get so mad at me. Goki, be prepared because I'm going to butcher the names and you're going to hate me for it. Just like that woman hates you for not speaking Korean.
A little bit. There's a point there too in which like if I run across another family with an adopted Asian, right, and they just see me out wandering about, they're probably assuming that I'm Korean.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And they assume that if I'm staring at them, because I know that that's the weird thing with us. Like somebody's staring at me with the family or whatever, like, oh, that another Asian family. I assume that they're culturally Asian.
Yeah.
And that they're looking.
I
at,
always
and,
did as a
and
kid.
assuming that I know, have the same set of expectations that they do. And it's weird to think that other people are looking at me with that same expectation.
So, what weird stories do you guys have? Put it in the comments below. Send us a video reply. Do whatever it is you want to do. Let's start a conversation. If you guys are in the area, come by, check out our new coffee bar, and then maybe we'll make you some coffee. Because I am a competition level barista. Not him. Me. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for Yes, We're Adopted. Don't make it weird. Again, I'm Brett. That's Davo. And we're not white. That's all I got. I walked off the screen again. That's my outro.
That's
You
your thing.
stayed.
That's your thing, that you leave and I stay.